What up? And welcome to another episode of From the Script to the Screen. The Hell's Paradise edition of From the Script to the Screen. This week, going over episode 11, covering chapters 31 to 35 of volume 4. And as always, gotta shout out the creator, Yuji Kaku. And gotta give a shout out to the studio. Thank you to Mappa Studios for providing us with this great animation. And with that being said, let's get right into the episode. Action-packed episode this week, so there's not too much to deep dive. We did get a little bit of information. You guys know as the episodes go along, the characters keep getting introduced to new things, so we do get a little bit of information each episode, but most of our main characters were throwing hands this week, and so I do want to talk a little bit about that. Something, if I'm being honest, that I've been expecting, because Aza, part of the Chobe brothers, has been eating the monsters and the human flesh that he's been coming across. According to him, is something that he's been doing to survive, keep his energy levels up and things like that. But being that these are creatures that possess supernatural abilities, I was expecting at some point for this to affect them. Quick sidebar, but shout out to Demon Slayer. We've seen that somebody also has the same ability. So what I mean is, I was expecting something like that. He's eating these monsters, he's eating these corpses, so he'd eventually be able to possess their power. Aza and Toma are engaging with the Shoshin and the Doshi that we were introduced to last week. One thing I enjoyed seeing this week with Aza and like Toma says, Aza is somebody that always adapts, always learns on the fly. And so we see that they're finally starting to learn and be able to not only read, but use this energy, this Tao that we were introduced to. We know that this is what grants the ability for the Lord Tenzin and everybody else on this island to be so strong. And because of his adaptability, we see here that Aza is able to gain the upper hand and is able to defeat the Doshi. And not only that, we see that he's able to heal just like them. So there is something deeper going along with him. We see that his brother also notices that that his body is starting to take on these marks that appear to be vines. And we know that they already emerged from the pit just a couple of episodes ago. So that's something to keep an eye on. We'll see what happens, but I do think it's something that's going to possess a problem later on. And what I said earlier in the episode, a little bit of information that we do get. We already knew that the young child, May, is damn near a Lord Tenzin herself. She also possesses the same abilities. And just last week, we saw that she's aging at a rapid pace. So now we know, and I do say it late, but disclaimer, if you haven't seen the episode, you might hear some spoilers. But now we know that she actually came from the palace herself, what they would call Harai, if I'm not mistaken, the center of the island. But she's somebody that was also from there, but happened to be excommunicated. And since she's somebody that's a very important part to these Doshi's training and to their enlightenment, I guess you could say, they want to bring her back into the palace, kicking off her second fight with Gabimaru and the Blade Dragon, Tamiya. And again, they are also starting to understand Tao. Not necessarily use it to their full advantage yet, but it is a blessing that they're finally able to understand what this Tao is. And we know that Gabimaru is somebody that already went through extensive training already possesses supernatural abilities, superhuman abilities himself. So he picks up on this Tao concept pretty fast and is able to demonstrate it. So it was a cool episode because our heroes or our protagonists are finally starting to gain some footing on this island. Like I said before, they've been on nothing but defense since they got here. They've been in survival mode, but they're finally starting to understand some things. And so again, here we also see that Gabimaru and Tamiya, or I'll say the Blade Dragon, are able to gain the upper hand on these Doshi. And now we'll see exactly what the Lord Tenzin are about. And like I said before, this Tao energy is, the balance or yin and yang, the middle way. Which is why I say it's a concept that we've been getting introduced to little by little as the shows went on. But we know that some characters are a little familiar with this concept, which is why I'm looking forward to seeing some of them get a better understanding of it and start to use it themselves. And ending off the episode, like I said, in Mappa fashion, they did change some of the events at the end of chapter 5 for the manga readers. Just a little scene with the Tenzin that I'm pretty sure we'll see later on. So just wanted to make a note of it for the manga readers. There's something that they're not, that they thought was missing. Speaking of the end of the episode, something that I'm not happy about was Sagiri walking up into this palace herself with the other executioner and this other ninja, just because there's somebody that's abandoned them in the past. So I'm hoping that she doesn't have to fight these Tenzin herself, who we see at the gate at the end of the episode. So we'll see what happens next week. I'm pretty sure I think the season will be wrapping up soon, so it might end off on a bang. But let me know what y'all thought about the episode. As always, what y'all think is gonna happen. And we out. Peace.